Hello everybody and welcome back to the Incubus channel. If this is your first time of coming, please don't forget to click on the subscribe button below your screen. If you've been here before, thanks for stopping by once again. Today we're going to be discussing addition of fractions, but as a prerequisite to that discussion, I would like to discuss the concept of multiples. Now, what is a multiple? Multiples of a number are a sequence of numbers that are generated when that number is added onto itself. I'll give an example. Let's see number 2. What are multiples of 2? If you add 2 onto itself, it becomes 4. Another 2 onto that, it becomes 6. Another 2 onto that, it becomes 8. Another 2, it becomes 10 and 12 and so on and so forth. So the sequence of numbers 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 are multiples of 2. Now, another example is 3. Multiples of 3, that means you're adding 3 onto itself. You have 6. After 6, you have 9. After 9, you have 12. After 12, you have 15 and so on and so forth. So those are multiples of 3. Now, 5 again, multiples of 5. You have 5, you have 10, you have 15 and so on and so forth. Now, you also have multiples of 10 as 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, etc., etc. So that's with multiples. Now, we also have common multiples. If you have a sequence of numbers that are multiples to one or more numbers, and you have a number that is common to both sets of numbers, then you are said to have a common multiple. Let's use examples of 2 and 3. Multiples of 2, like I've discussed before, you can have 4, you can have 6, you can have 8, you can have 10, 12, 14, and so on and so forth. Now also have multiples of 3 as 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and so on and so forth. If you check the two sets of numbers, you see that there's a number that is common to both multiples of 2 and multiples of 3. The common numbers could be like 6, the 6 up and the 6 down. There's also 12 up and there's 12 down. Those numbers that are common both to the first set of multiples and the second set of multiples. Those are common multiples. And in events where you could take the lowest of those common multiples, you now have what is called the L.C.M, or the lowest common multiple. Now, we need L.C.M in our resolution of fractions. If you're adding or subtracting or doing anything, please check out the video where I discuss fractions to have an idea of where we started from before going on to addition of fractions. So that's how to figure out the lowest common multiple, or L.C.M, of numbers. So, having said that, now let's try our hands on a few examples on how to add fractions. So we are going to begin with a simple example of adding 1 over 2 and 1 over 3, written as 1 over 2 plus 1 over 3. How do we start? We draw a line underneath the fractions and we write the LCM underneath. The LCM of 2 and 3 from our previous discussion will be 6. So you write 6 below the line. Now, you look at the fractions on top. You have the numerator part and of course the denominator part. So the trick is to check how many times the denominator can go into the LCM, and you multiply that result by the numerator of the fraction to have what's written on top of the line. So in our case now, we have 2. How many times can 2 go into 6? That would be 3. Now multiplying 3 by the numerator, which is 1, we have 3 written on top of the line. We now put the plus sign. Now use 2. How many times can 2 go into the LCM? So writing it out, you now become 3 plus 2 divided by 6, which is 5 over 6. That's a simple example on addition of fractions. Let's do one more. This time, let us add fractions that are mixed fractions. So I'm going to use another example of 2 and 1 over 2 plus 3 and 1 over 3. In this case, we have whole number components of the fractions as well as the fractional part. So we'll begin by adding the whole number part out before dealing with the LCM and how many times the denominators both can go into LCM before they are multiplied by their respective numerators. So in this case, as whole numbers, we have 2 and we have 3. Adding that, we now have 5 on the side. Now we'll draw a usual line and find the LCM, which again is 6. 3 goes into LCM 2 times. Multiplying 2 with number on top, you have 2. And 2 goes into LCM 3 times. Multiplying that by number on top, you also have 3. So we now have our whole number as 5 and the fractional part as 3 plus 2 divided by 6. That will now give us a total of 5 and 5 over 6. That's 5 whole number and the fractional part of 5 over 6. That's how to add fractions. Now, in our next video, we're going to do subtraction of fractions before we move on to multiplication, division, and the BODMAS method. So please watch out for the next video, and please leave behind comments on how you think we could, better our presentations, or anything you feel like a question you want to ask or anything you want to raise. Please do leave behind your comments so we can talk about it. Thank you very much.